Shout out Young Swish.
Get up, let me begin. This is 𝗕𝗘𝗧𝗏𝗏. You ain't heard about us yet, well you better know now, because it's the place that it all goes down. Get up, let me begin. This is 𝗕𝗘𝗧𝗏𝗏. You ain't heard about us yet, well you better know now, because it's the place that it all goes down.
Shout out Young Swish.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of the Sit Down Morning Show with Malik Wright, presented by TWSN. I'm your host, Malik Wright, joined by my co-host, as always, 𝗦𝗣𝗢𝗎𝗪. And we got our guy back in the building with us, Tim Andrews. We got a lot of stuff to get to, lots to talk about. Before we do us a favor, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you guys never miss when we go live or when we upload content from the TWSN studios. Boys, it feels like the universe didn't want us to have a show today. I mean, anything that could have possibly went wrong this morning, from technical difficulties, right? The service that we use in order to go live completely just shuts down all across the world, right? Had to rush and do one and make a new show, a whole 9 yards. I saw that to say we're here. I want to thank my team for handling the rocky waters of the morning. Really couldn't do this without you guys, so I appreciate you guys for making sure this happens. Also, want to give a little bit of an apology. We were supposed to have a guest on the show today. That guest will be joining us sometime next week or in the coming weeks. We're supposed to have Falcons safety, NFL rookie, defensive rookie of last month, Xavier Watts, join us on the show. But obviously, with last night's events, I didn't think that was the proper time to have him on the show. So we'll have him on at a later time so we can discuss all the good things that are happening in Atlanta that exclude last night. That all being said, if you guys do us a favor, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss when we go live or when we upload content from the TWSN studios. Listen, boys, I'm pumped. I'm pumped, okay? Let me tell you why I'm pumped. NBA's back tomorrow, okay? That means the rebound whisperer. The rebound.
Do it again.
The rebound whisperer is back. That is, listen, I gotta say something about my mom real quick, man.
Okay.
She's a lovely lady. She's a great woman, but she never taught me how to whistle.
Okay.
Never taught me how to whistle, right? So I don't know how to whistle, but I am the rebound whisperer because I'm able to somehow find these plays that win people so much money. We're gonna get into all that. Okay. And luckily for the people, we're going to talk about some NBA bets today because we don't have a show on Tuesdays. Obviously, as you guys know, the Sit Down Morning Show is live every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. But NBA is back tomorrow. Opening night is tomorrow. And we got Lakers and Warriors and so much on tap that we're going to get into. But you know what I want to talk about right now? Before we jump into all the different conversations that we're going to have around Mike McDaniel, Brian Daboll, Pat Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, the whole 9 yards.
Drake May.
You know what I want to talk about really quickly?
Who?
My favorite NBA breakout stars this year.
Oh wow, we're gonna
before Daniel goes, I just want to say one thing, and I've been talking since the start of the show, but God damn it, I can. My breakout star, young star of the NBA season. This guy, I'm gonna plant my flag to him. He's gonna win Most Improved Player of the Year. This man goes by the name of Cam Whitmore. I almost said Cam Ward.
You did.
Cam Whitmore.
That's not the guy you want to say.
The Rockets screwed him up. The Rockets said they didn't believe in him. The Rockets gave him up.
Early enough.
And let me tell you right now, that was a huge mistake, but it's a great mistake if you like winning prop bets. Cam Whitmore, unlike Scotty Barnes, he could probably get you 25 a night. Routinely. The dude's a hooper. And guess what?
You are
the Wizards,
so excited about
I'm jacked up about Cam Whitmore. I'm jacked up about Cam Whitmore. I wish my Boston Celtics would have made a play for Cam Whitmore, because if had I known Cam Whitmore was available, had I known Ime Udoka would have said, you know what, we're not going to play a guy like Cam Whitmore, I would have went out there and I would have said, hey, Celtics, make a move because JT's out. We need some type of a spark. This dude, Cam Whitmore, is the Energizer Bunny. He's a hooper through and through. I've seen this dude go out there and dunk on LeBron's head top. Listen, I'm excited about Cam Whitmore. If there's any player in the association outside of Luka Doncic, who everybody knows is my favorite player, it's Cam Whitmore. I think Cam Whitmore is going to put asses in seats. Wizards fans, I won't promise that you guys will be a playoff team. I won't even promise that you'll be a French playoff team. But what I will say is Wizards basketball will be exciting with Cam Whitmore on that team. Daniel, what say you?
I mean, I rock with Cam, and I think that this is a perfect – he's a perfect guy to discuss for this award. He's going to have the opportunity. The Wizards suck, and he's going to have the chance to play a big role. So I'm a big fan of him. I've got a couple guys. First off, shout out to what Michael's saying, 𝗦𝗡𝗢𝗟𝗧𝗏, the Chicago Bulls guy. I'm a big fan of him, and he definitely deserves to be in the conversation. And just to touch on him for 1 second, this guy is super athletic. This is his second year, I believe, in the NBA, and this is a Chicago Bulls team that they need hope, right? You got Kobe White, who's one of my favorite players in the league. They got Josh Giddey there, but they need a guy who can be that wing that can contend against the LeBron James, the Kevin Durant. And 𝗬𝗎😂 is a phenomenal athlete. He's a guy who's 39% shooter from the three, and he's a fantastic guy in transition that helps in the regular season. So shout out to Michael. I thought that was a great look. My guy, who I think is going to break out and is going to be a big star, is 𝗦𝗢𝗢𝗓 of the Portland Trail Blazers. This is a guy who is about to turn the NBA world on its head, respectfully. You look at what he did at the end of last season. I saw a star in Portland. I saw a guy who can legitimately lead an NBA team, who can be a number one. I truly believe that. And it may shock some people. Who the hell is this guy? He's on the Trailblazers. This guy sucks. Why can he be number one? It's his play style that does it for me, right? This is a guy who, if you were to compare him to anybody, you can compare him to a Luka Doncic. He's not of the caliber of player he is, but it's the same type of play style. 6'9", 240 pounds, bigger build, but a guy who can play the point forward role, right? A guy who can take the ball up and, despite being 6'9", can start the offense, can play at the high post, can run the pick and roll, can be the pick and roll roll man. This is a guy who can do everything on the court from the offense side of the ball. And the reason why I think he's such a huge find, the NBA fans should be looking into this guy, is because you look at the Trailblazers. Who is the guy that has the ball in his hands in the fourth quarter? Who is the guy that has the ball in his hands when it matters the most? And it's been 𝗦𝗢𝗢𝗓 for the Trailblazers. And I think this is a team. They just added Jrue Holiday. Obviously, they traded Anthony Simons and they got rid of DeAndre Ayton. But they have a sneaky good roster, a very young roster. And if they were to break out in any way, it's going to be because of 𝗦𝗢𝗢𝗓. And when you look at the stats, at the end of last year, he was around 25 points a game. He was having 30-point outbreaks. He was having triple doubles. This is the engine of their offense. And he's a guy where I'm sure most people watching are probably like, is he a star? That's exactly why I believe this guy can be a breakout star. So 𝗦𝗢𝗢𝗓 is one of my breakout stars of the entire season. Tim, who you got? You got anybody?
Your Cam Whitmore excitement thrills me. I love it that you love him. I have two guys who are just as exciting in my eyes, and his season was cut short because of, complications on the outside. But Ausar Thompson, guard from the Detroit Pistons.
He ain't better than his brother, but go ahead.
Yeah.
He's not better than his brother.
They have
He's
the
not
same
better than his brother.
characteristics.
He is not
going to
better than
do
his
this
brother.
with you this
No,
morning.
we can do that this
You
morning.
already had a hard morning. You're ready to swing.
Listen, he's
You
not
know
better
what?
than his brother. He's not better than his brother.
Look,
that's not even a hot take. That's not even a hot take. Amen
I
Thompson
don't
is
think
better
it's
than
a hot
Ausar.
take,
Yeah,
but I think the potential is there just as much.
No, but
I really do.
No.
He played extremely well in the first round of the playoffs against arguably one of the best clutch guards in the NBA in Jalen Brunson. The blood clot diagnosis that was in 2023 cut into some of his time of development, but then he was fully cleared to resume basketball activities in November of 2024. I think that only in appearing in 59 games, we got to see a splash of what he's capable of. Now he has a full off season. I think those numbers increase of his 10 points per game in average last year. I think that increases, and he has a much larger role, and he gets to showcase his talents on a larger scale as well. So he's somebody to look out for. I know he's not his brother, but God damn it, they look the same, and hopefully they'll play the same. I have trouble saying this guy's name, but Alperen Sengun, center.
He's a breakout for you? African paid what he got paid?
I think so.
Okay.
I think there's a level of talent that hasn't been reached yet. I know it's kind of like an obvious one to throw out there, but with KD coming to H-Town, with Amon now taking a step and being that guy that you're saying is better than his brother, I think now with those perimeter, options and threats out there, gives him more one-on-one opportunities to post up and make plays down below. He averaged 19 and 10 last year. I think with KD being out there, just being a threat, I think he takes 2 on the perimeter any given, day that they lace those shoes up. So those are 2 guys that I look at as where there's a chance for us to be saying, these are pivotal pieces on possible deep playoff run and possible championship contenders. At least I'm talking about Houston.
Okay. I got a name for you.
Yeah.
I got a name for you. I'm going to keep cooking because you cooked.
Okay.
You cooked. I respect that.
Hey, appreciate it.
Here's a name nobody really knows. 𝗠𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗦𝗢. He's going to be a starter this year for the Hornets. And I'm going to go as far as to say 𝗠𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗦𝗢.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think that this dude has tremendous upside. You talk about it, put another playmaker on the Hornets, right? We all know Melo has had issues staying healthy. We know that already.
Yeah.
We also know that teams have done a great job of keying in on LaMelo. I felt so uncomfortable just calling him Melo just now because there's only one Melo.
There's only one Melo,
right?
Yeah.
But LaMelo has that problem staying healthy, but teams have also had a lot of success of keeping him out of the game, whether that be through double teams or just throwing an extra defender his way, making him hesitate. And when you look at it, I know that there's a guy on the Hornets that Daniel likes a lot in Brandon Miller. I like Brandon
high
Miller.
flyer. Yeah.
High flyer.
Love him.
But I don't know if Brandon Miller is the same type of playmaker that a 𝗠𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗦𝗢 is. Because honestly, he's like one of those two-way. He's like a point forward in my eyes. He's a guy that could play the point guard position if you actually needed him to, right? And this is a new position that's starting to emerge. We obviously saw LeBron is probably the first real one of this era that we've seen that is a true dominant point forward. I look at 𝗠𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗦𝗢, a guy who's on the Hornets. Again, I don't expect the Hornets to do too much, but I like this Hornets team. And I like them even more so with 𝗠𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗦𝗢 in the lineup, another ball handler, a guy that can get the ball to other playmakers, can get guys like Miles Bridges involved, a guy that could get Brandon Miller involved, that could also allow Lonzo Ball, if need be, to play off ball. I really, really like that. Let me tell you what I like too. I like Collin Sexton on the Hornets this year. And I think that, again, with having a 𝗠𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗦𝗢 that can get the ball to some of these guys, guess what? Now you don't have to force Collin Sexton to play a point guard position if LaMelo needs to come off, if LaMelo needs a break. If they could find a way to kind of stagnate those minutes, I'm really curious to see what the head coach Charles Lee is able to do for the Hornets. But what are your thoughts?
I was gonna say, asking you, what is the biggest threat that he can bring to the team?
It's his playmaking ability, but he's a scorer. He's a lights out 3-point shooter. That is his game. He's a lights out 3-point shooter. He can shoot you out the gym, but he also is dynamic with the ball in his hands. We got to see a little bit of in preseason. We got to see him get his other playmakers involved. But I'm really, really excited about 𝗠𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗦𝗢. I think he's going to be another playmaker. Okay. But again, he's young, so I don't want to put too many. I've seen Cam Whitmore live NBA actually do what he's done, which is why you saw me with the amount of enthusiasm when it came to a Cam Whitmore. But I think 𝗠𝗔𝗟𝗡𝗦𝗢 could be a star in this league.
Yeah, I don't know how long you want to go.
Listen, I want to talk about it. Listen, we don't have
15 guys
we
can talk about.
We don't have a show tomorrow, so we have to talk about it now because the NBA is back in action tomorrow. So I'd rather talk about these guys now because the next time we step foot on this morning show will be Thursday.
He's got another name that I just saw that I like.
Go ahead.
Do you like this guy?
Go ahead.
Oh man,
go ahead.
This is when I watch him. This is the closest thing the NBA can have to Victor Wembanyama. I truly believe that. And this is a guy I believe
they have with Victor Wembanyama,
but the closest thing to him besides Victor Wembanyama. Hold on. But this is a guy who I believe could push Bam Adebayo out of Miami, and that is Kel'el Ware. I truly believe with what they've got with him. He's 7 foot. This is a guy who's got the size to do it. He's got the wingspan to do it. He's got the athleticism. This is a guy who they just drafted top 10 in the NBA last year, and his potential is sky high. This is a guy where you can see yourself building a franchise around his talent. The biggest concern with him and where I can see some problems is it's been reported by Eric Spoelstra, hey, this guy isn't always on time. This guy isn't always consistent. If he can get the consistency down, he's a locked-in superstar. So that is by far and away the biggest concern. If he puts it all together, we're talking about a guy who's shooting 5-6 threes a game and who's hitting at threes at a 42% clip. If you have a 7-foot center who's hitting at 42% from three at 21 years old, that is as good as you can get. And he's also a menace on the defense side of the ball. I'm a big believer in Kel'el Ware. He's a guy where people aren't talking about him because he averaged 9 points a game last year. They're like, oh, 9 points a game. This guy's trash. He doesn't do this. Look at his highs. His high, he had 32 points early on in the season. This is a guy in preseason was balling out. I'm a big fan of 𝗦𝗢𝗪, and if they were to decide, hey, maybe we can trade 𝗦𝗢𝗪𝗖𝗥 and get another star, I personally think they should trade away 𝗪𝗓. But this is a guy I'm locked in on. I think he averages 18 points a game this year and hits his threes at a 40% clip. He is a star. I'm a big fan of him.
Okay, so guy being 7 foot, 230, great intangibles, great overall look of a specimen.
Yeah.
Why'd you make that face?
Well, why are you picking on me? What did I do?
You did make a face.
You had a look on your
Well,
face.
because
like,
it's very simple to me. If the guy is not consistent, if the guy he could be all the talent in the world, but this is a team in the Miami Heat that always put culture above talent.
Totally.
I was just about to say character.
And if you can't, character goes into that culture, right? So if you can't find a way to get the small things mastered, you will not see the court. And I think that is why Khalil, how do you say Khalil? Is it Khalil or 𝗦𝗢𝗪? Because I know exactly what you're talking about. 𝗦𝗢𝗪. What's like 𝗦𝗢𝗪? 𝗦𝗢𝗪. Now I understand. Like, this dude is talented, right?
Yeah.
This dude is talented. He could be a double monster in this league. I really expect that. But if you're not mastering, the small tasks, the mundane tasks, Miami's the worst place for him.
Totally.
It's the worst place for him. It's also the worst place for a young basketball player who's 7 foot in Miami. You got girls, you got all this stuff being thrown your way. How do you handle the distractions?
Because character does create playing time in Miami. And I think with them having that solidified for just not before he got there, but before LeBron got there, before a lot of guys who ended up being true leaders were there.
Bro, we saw Gabe Vincent.
Standard. Yeah.
I've seen the Heat not play 𝗪𝗓𝗪. And back when Gabe Vincent was there, play Gabe Vincent over 𝗪𝗓𝗪, all because Gabe Vincent fit their culture.
Nobody's bigger than the program.
Right.
There you go.
It's a nice way to go about it. Can we also talk about it that they're probably the last organization that actually handles it that way? I mean, before it was the Spurs led by Popovich. We obviously know he's transitioned to a front office role.
Yeah.
But before, nobody else was really handling it that way. Everybody sort of got, they play their players. Oh, I would say 𝗦𝗢𝗢𝗓 kind of handles it that way, kind of low-key, kind of.
Low-key.
He's kind of low-key. He had it out for Cam Whitmore. He didn't play him. Cam Whitmore will go out there and be energizer.
He stands on
Cam
business.
Whitmore will go out there, get you 15 points coming off the bench, and he would just not play him again. I'll be like, what the hell? Like, why is that guy not playing? It made you also almost forget about it, but not me. Not me. Which is why I'm here to tell you, Cam Whitmore, just to wrap this whole program up, Cam Whitmore is going to be the NBA's breakout star.
Yo, I hope he's gonna hit you up for promotion one day. Because
I don't need it. Guess what? Because it's gonna be another player. This is when people tell me, how do you get excited talking to these players and all this kind of stuff like that? No. You get excited to promote a player? No. You know why? Because there will always be another. I'm in this game for longevity. There will always be somebody else. I just recognize real. I recognize talent. And so at the end of the day, I recognize that, guess what? At the end of the day, I think that he's going to be a very, very good player for the Wizards. And the Wizards ain't got too much to kind of be excited about. But Cam Whitmore is something to get you excited about. Somebody said, is there an audio sync issue? I hope not. Listen, we had to move over I don't know if you called that the beginning of the show. We had to literally move over to a completely different platform because the platform we were using just shut down all around the world. And so we were kind of it was a crazy morning. Let's just leave it at that.
We're battling
we are battling
here.
We are battling. We are battling, and we are here. We appreciate you. Guys, do us a favor. Let me know down in the comment section who your breakout NBA star is. Because maybe it's a name we have not talked about. I just want to take credit really quickly. 𝗠𝗔𝗟𝗄, Cam Whitmore, guys that
we would take 30 minutes to talk about the amount of guys who are able to break out this year.
You know what?
And put themselves in position to get huge contracts later.
I would go a step forward, but I'm not going to say it. Don't discount Mark Williams being a standout with the Suns, man. Now having a chance to break out with Jalen Green and Devin Booker. Don't sleep on it.
I feel like things are aligning for him.
How did I forget this? Shame on me and Daniel. There is a breakout star.
Who?
Anthony Simons for the Boston Celtics. He is the new starting point guard for the Boston Celtics. They moved on from Jrue Holiday. And guess what?
They were showing clips of him. And
he's the sixth man. Whoa, he's the sixth man.
He's the sixth man.
He's the sixth man.
But dog,
that is crazy. I don't like Peyton Pritchard over him.
They were showing clips of him on X.
Yeah, I don't like.
Can I say that his style of play, just the way he moves and operates, kind of looks like
Dame Time? But who did he also learn under? Dame Time. You know what I'm saying? So you already know. And I'm sorry, I just want
Like
to say
that.
this. You know, somebody said the NBA is, I'm not going to say the word, but I'll tell you right now, this is the morning show. We talk about every sport, everything that is relevant. NBA is back tomorrow. If you don't like the NBA, I'm sorry. Maybe this is not the show for you. We're still going to talk about it. At the end of the day, there's a lot of stars that are going to break out this year in the NBA. And you know what's crazy? I want to just say this point. If it wasn't for JJ Redick and his weird-ass rotations, I would also put Dalton Connect in there. But I'm not ready to do that because I do not know where Dalton Connect
I don't know
stands.
what the smoke is with Dalton, man.
It's weird,
I'm gonna
man.
be honest with you. Ever since that trade between Mark, him, and that whole,
man.
discombobulation of shit put together,
Mm-hmm.
it's really felt like he's kind of like, I'm renting my spot here.
Yeah.
I don't feel at home. I'm waiting
It
till
feels
I
like
get
there's
the
a. It
keys.
feels like there's a shelf life for that. We just
Yeah.
don't know what it is. Daniel, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was just gonna say one other name.
Yeah, go
Like
ahead.
we're close to Indiana. It is so clear to me _𝗏𝗏 Mathurin is a superstar. Or he's a star. Let me hold up. He's a star.
Okay.
This is a guy who's averaging only 16 points a game. No Tyrese Halliburton. This guy's gonna average 23 to 25 points a game. I look at this guy. He's 23 years old, and I do see Jaylen Brown in him. I saw this guy live in college when he played at U of A, and he is a high flyer. Not only that, but his downhill speed, his ability to win one-on-one, and his ability to just put the ball in the hoop, whether that's transition, even in the half-court game at 23 years old, I still feel like he's developing. And the Pacers, they're going to need a star. They're going to need somebody that's going to be able to take them over the hump, and I think he's going to have the opportunity. We saw it on the biggest stage, in the biggest moment, under the brightest lights. Game 7, I believe, or Game 1 of the NBA Finals, he dropped 24 points. In the NBA Finals, he is a microwave scorer, and that is what the NBA loves. He is a name that is going to be up there with everybody talks about Jalen Williams from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Everybody talks about these other guys. _𝗏𝗏 Mathurin will be a name that people talk about. And Logan Fulmer said Andrew Nembhard can have a great year. I totally agree. Andrew Nembhard is a stud.
I got like 3 more guys in my
All
head,
right, just
but
throw 'em out there. Come on.
No.
No, do it.
Yeah, real quick.
No,
Let's go.
do it. Because I'm gonna wind up questioning and wondering who are those 3 guys. So say it. As he itches, as he scratches,
You know what?
he tickles his ear.
No, forget it. Because I want you to wait.
No, can you just say
I
the names?
want-
Say the names. Say the names. Say the names. Come on.
Okay. First things first. I don't know if he's already arrived, but there's another level to his game. I'm going back to the Thompson brothers. Amon at this point might turn around and be putting up 25, 8, and 7. Expect even with KD there. I don't think people understand the significance of having KD on the floor, even at 36 years old.
Can I throw you a different name?
Throw me one.
A guy who's been shadowing KD, a guy that has similar traits, and a guy that if he puts it together will be an absolute wrecking force in the league. Jabari Smith Jr. Jabari Smith Jr. is going to be a superstar in this league. If they say
Jabari is smooth, man.
well, he is inconsistent. That's the issue with his game.
But when he's on, he's on.
Yes, and KD's the perfect person that can help him with his game, how to manipulate defenses, how to have success in this league.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're on the same team together is a nightmare because as soon as you think KD is off the court, you got Jabari Smith Jr., who could be called KD Jr. at the end of this year, doing similar stuff. He can rebound. He can block your shot. He can hit threes on you. He got a good mid-range game. Listen, Jabari Smith Jr. is a guy that could also shock people as well. And I think that he's learning under great people with KD being now on the Rockets.
We're going to tag team this because I did one, you did one. I'll give you one more.
Okay.
We can move on, and because it's a lot.
Because you want the
we need
last
to
word,
talk
of course.
about.
Yeah.
Of course. Thank you. You know me so well. Nembhard might, I could see honestly taking on not only a starter role, but what he did against Shea in the finals. I'm not gonna. I'm not
Talking about the most overrated player in the entire association.
Oh my God!
Is that a shot?
No, not
right, because he is the most overrated player. He's the most disgusting MVP candidate I've ever seen. I'm just being honest with you. Outside of the SGA, yeah, I don't.
Bro,
there's nothing most valuable about him. Without
when players in the NBA talk about SGA, they talk about how easy the game is to him. Sure. James Harden said at this point, it's easy for him to score. So now he's trying to find out different ways to impact the game when he's already done almost everything. I mean, has the game transitioned to help players like SGA?
I mean, of course.
Yes.
Can I be real with you? I really
I don't think SGA
don't rate what James Harden has to say about up and coming players because they have a similar style that they're foul bait merchants. That's how they get majority of their points getting to the line. Listen, I respect James Harden's game. James Harden is a Hall of Famer through and through. And you know, at the end of the day, there was a point in time where James Harden was absolutely dominating competition, and James Harden could still go out there any night and give you 30 points for sure. But if I'm being honest with you, 𝗕𝗘𝗧𝗟𝗓 is a guy that lives and dies by the free throw line. Hold on.
Yeah.
You take 𝗕𝗘𝗧𝗟𝗓 off of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they're still a dominant team. He was not really tasked with too many dominant moments last year where he needed to come in and be the most valuable player on his team. He's the most valuable foul merchant. I'm not done yet. The fact of the matter, when it comes to 𝗕𝗘𝗧𝗟𝗓, I literally have seen this man sit for a quarter and a half, come back in, and his team is still up by 25 points. You talk about what he does, what is dominant. I've also seen this dude go out there and be non-existent. I've seen this dude not go out there and get his 30. I've seen this guy sit on the bench, come back in against backups and still get 30 because it fits the stat line. Listen, I'm not buying that when it comes. Listen, I appreciate the fact that he still goes out there and gets his points, but I think the most dominant player in the entire association resides in Denver, and his name is Nikola Jokic. I think the next best player,
I'm not going to disagree with that.
Next best player behind him resides now with the Los Angeles Lakers and Luka Doncic. And I'm going to go as far as to say, if you want an early bet, it's not MVP. It's not great. It's going to be Luka Doncic.
MVP.
Luka Doncic is a better player than 𝗕𝗘𝗧𝗟𝗓. And to your point, you asked me, you said who on the Thunder can put up those type of points. I got a name for you, Jalen Williams, who would be a superstar in any other team. Chet Holmgren, who again could be a two-way dominant star in this league. I've been following Chet since Chet was in high school. The fact of the matter is they've got some absolute dogs, right? You don't discount the defensive prowess. They don't make it look as easy against the Nuggets if it wasn't for Alex Caruso's defensive performance against Jokic, right? They've got some guys, Isaiah Joe. They've got another guy that's coming up who tore his ACL last year, Nikola Topic. Listen, they've got some guys on this team right now. And credit to the Thunder's management for accumulating all those picks, and they've got an abundance of first-round picks, and even this year, I think they got 3 first-round picks.
This is what happens when you build from the ground up.
But what I'm saying is, Shea was a trade that took place from the Clippers, and the Clippers are kicking themselves for doing it. But the Thunder were always going to have a bright future with or without 𝗕𝗘𝗧𝗟𝗓. And I'm telling you right now, if you take 𝗕𝗘𝗧𝗟𝗓 off of the Thunder, I still think the Thunder would be a 1 seed. I still believe that because their team is that good. So with that all being said, damn. We got heated on that NBA talk.
Hey.
I'm sorry. I feel very passionate about how I feel about 𝗕𝗘𝗧𝗟𝗓.
I mean, hold on.
And he's an ineffective superstar.
I think you just went.
He's a what?
I think you went.
He's a what?
That's how I feel.
Listen.
No. Say what you said.
See, the problem I just have with this is like I agree with you.
His game is disgusting.
Disgusting in a bad way.
It's
bro,
listen.
I think he's just fine, bro. Tom Brady did the same thing. Tom Brady does the same thing.
No.
Working the game and the rules to your benefit.
Don't compare Tom Brady to 𝗕𝗘𝗧𝗟𝗓. What are you talking about?
But what I'm saying is working the rules to your benefit. Yo, the tuck rule, when that happened, we knew that was a fumble, but he was able to sit here and go about his business and still make a win.
I will always have issues with people like Trae Young, James Harden, 𝗕𝗘𝗧𝗟𝗓's game, but it's the fact of the matter is Shea does it at a nasty, alarming rate.
He was given,
let's be honest, he was given MVP last year, not because of his impact on the team. He was given MVP last year because his stat line was 30 a game, even though that came against backups. Even though I've seen this man several times come in the fourth quarter where the team has them away. It's just to get his 30. And guess what? Hear me out. When we talk about MVP, most valuable player, who dictates how good their team is year in and year out and impacts their team? Both it's Nikola Jokic. He was robbing MVP because you know what? People get voters fatigue, and I understand that. And I get that. Tired. But 𝗕𝗘𝗧𝗟𝗓 might have been the MVP of score. He was not the most valuable player in the entire association. He got that because of his stat line, and he got that because his team were the 1 seed by a dominant margin. That is why he got that. That's it. But you take 𝗕𝗘𝗧𝗟𝗓 off of the Thunder, and guess what? They still win. How many game-winning shots did he need to hit last year? Or game-winning, or when his team needed him and they say, Shea, yes, we're struggling so much, Shea, come back in. We need you. What was it, like 1 or 2 times against the Denver Nuggets? Who played them to the brink? And the Denver Nuggets doing that with Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., who couldn't make any damn shot? What are we talking about? Russell Westbrook hitting bricks? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? And you know who gave them the most issue? It was the Nuggets. It was the Nuggets. Why? Because Nikola Jokic is the best player in the entire association. After that, it's Luka Doncic. Rest of my case. Simple as that.
Yo,
he's not the MVP of anything.
If Shea wins another MVP,
he won't. He won't.
That man over there.
He won't.
But what even if he does, it will not be valid to you. Right. That's
no matter what he does.
The truth, and I think
because that makes me feel like I'm dying. That makes me feel like I have an agenda I just love basketball. Right. I love basketball. Right. And what I can tell you right now is he was not the MVP of the league. That is what I can tell you from watching almost every damn game, because I bet on a lot of games. Yeah. I have to stay in tune with it because I run a damn show. The fact of the matter is, Shea was not the MVP of anything. He was never the most important player out there for in any margin. He's not better than Jokic. Not even in the same breath as Jokic.
So that's what makes the MVP award invalid. If he wins another one, your argument right there makes it invalid, right?
Maybe he listen. If Jalen Williams were to go down or Chet were to go down, and he was still able to pull his team, he was without Chet. I agree with you. I think Luka's a better player than him. I think Nikola Jokic is a better player than him. I do think that we have to see him in more quote unquote challenging positions, but this is always the argument with teams that are great, right? If you take this guy off this team's still good. The same exact thing with Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics when they won the finals. If you take Tatum off the Celtics, they still win the championship, of course, but he was still a key cog to their team. So I agree with you, and I think that the telltale for Shea for me is going to be the longevity. Can he keep this up? Because the pace that he's going on right now, regardless, like last season it was phenomenal. Last season was phenomenal. Like, what was phenomenal? He was phenomenal. The stat line? Okay, yes, the stat line, but also him. But and also the thing I think is kind of bullshit with this whole foul merchant thing. He is a foul merchant.
Then Luka Doncic is a foul merchant. Luka averaged more free throw attempts per game than Shea Gilgeous. So what is that?
Okay, let's actually talk about. I'm happy that we're having this discussion. Yeah, you know what? There are ball knowers, and then there are people that just go off of what stats say. Yeah. If you turn on the freaking tape and you watch Luka Doncic and the Los Angeles Lakers, you see Luka actually trying to apply himself and get to the basket. I've seen Shea go out there and bump himself into people just to get shots.
Act like Luka hasn't.
No, Luka definitely has. Every player in the association has done that. But guess what? Guess what? You can't tell me when you know you need to get to 30 points. You know that's the line you need to get to. 30 points, and you get in there against backups, and you're doing the same bullshit, right? Where you get to the line, you're driving the lane, and you go into a backup point guard. Oh, foul! And I've seen this dude go in and hit consistently 5 free throw shots. Not even making a series. The shot. Listen, the ball doesn't even go up. He doesn't even try to make the shot. It's bam, 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 knock into you. And then they call the foul.
Contact, apparently.
Yes, but I agree with you. But the issue I have with that, I think that's every play. Nikola Jokic, I've seen him time and time again. The triple double. Like, I've seen him go
because there is an art from the 3-point line. There is an art of getting players out of position. There is an art, and I respect that. Where I take extreme issue is when you get 15 points, 10 points off of solely that. And you're not making and your team is already up. Your team's already up. Impact the game other ways. Can you impact your playmaking ability? Can you maybe get Jalen Williams some more shots in there? Can you maybe get other guys involved? Or is it just about you getting your 30 points? That's not an MVP to me. That's not MVP. Going in there and just making sure at all costs you get your 30 points, that is why he's the most controversial MVP that there's been, probably since Joel Embiid. How people felt, hey, Joel Embiid was only given the MVP because of Jokic.
I don't think we're denying your statement of that he's a foul merchant. I think what we're trying to say is he's not the only one who's being a foul merchant. No. You're going to hold that.
That is what you're saying is accurate. But what I'm saying is we're agreeing more than we're disagreeing.
Okay.
Every player in the association does it. But what happens when that becomes your main source of income, the way that you get most of your points? That is where I think it's grimy. That is where listen, I've seen James Harden carrying the carcasses of his Rockets team He was doing the same thing, but he was still getting 40 points. He was still getting 40 points, and he was also could dice you up with 3-point. People often say Shai Gilgeous-Alexander isn't the greatest 3-point shooter. It's a part of his game.
Right.
It's a part of his game where he needs to work on. So where is he getting most of his shots from? Because a huge part of the game nowadays, Tim, is, well, it's the 3-point shot.
Yeah.
Well, if your 3-point shot is non-existent, but you're getting to the free throw line at an alarming rate, right? You just talked about how he's trying to find other areas of his game to work on. I got one for you, his playmaking ability. I got another one for you, his 3-point ability. So he's getting most of his shots through the mid-range, yes, and getting to the foul line. But oftentimes when he gets to the mid-range, you know what happens? He gets a foul. But if you're actually trying to impact the game in other ways, oh, well, he doesn't have to, right? Because his team's already up by a large margin, no fault of his own. But you can't tell me that he's trying to work on other areas of his game when his 3-point percentage still needs a lot of work.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. All respect. Listen, I respect anybody that steps on that court. Any professional athlete, let me be honest with you.
Yeah.
I respect. This is no disrespect to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I just think, well, I think I have a different outlook on the MVP award and what that means than most. That's all.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was the most valuable player in the association.
I agree with you on that.
Credit to him for getting his 30 points
Per
every game
Malik
now.
Wright.
I agree.
Shai, you got some work to do.
He does.
Get in your bag.
You know what? I had
Like the fries at the
I had
bottom.
an interesting
I'm just
conversation.
being
I had an
honest.
interesting conversation with a friend at this point in his career. Right? Let's talk. Before I even ask that, though.
Yeah.
Shai is benefited by having a great team around him, like Lou Dort, defensive. The door they call it the torture chamber, right?
Yeah.
Then you got Chet Holmgren, who could also win a defensive MVP at some point in his career. Then you got Isaiah Hartenstein. So you got the two tall, damn near 7-foot dudes who can just block your shot at the rim. Where he doesn't really have to play defense. He doesn't really have to do much. You have Jalen Williams who can get
That
you
ain't
25.
his fault.
No, but that's not. I'm not saying that's his fault.
Right.
But when I'm also, we have to talk about the team that is also around him. Right.
Right. Yeah.
That is a talented team that is around him. Guys like Casey Wallace, 3-and-D guards. These are guys that can make plays, whether they're with them or not. This is what I'm saying. You take Jalen Williams off of the Thunder, would he be a superstar? He'd be treated like a superstar in the association. You take Chet off the Thunder, will he be a superstar? He'd be treated like a superstar in the association. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of guys. There's a reason why this Thunder team is so good, and that's a credit to Sam Presti and the Oklahoma City Thunder organization. They've done a great job building this team around him. But let's not. It's like when people were saying, "Oh, Donovan Mitchell." Y'all probably don't remember this. Donovan Mitchell. He's a defensive stalwart. He's good defensively. No, he's okay defensively.
Mm-hmm.
He was benefited by the Utah Jazz and having Rudy Gobert as his center, who masked a lot of their flaws.
Even
Like,
at Baylor,
that's what I'm saying. Like he's not the defense. He gets his 30 a night. Love that for Shai. You got the MVP. What is he? 28, 29 now? 8 years?
27.
27?
27.
Okay, he's getting up there.
Yeah.
Right. So good for him. He got his MVP award. I just think I need to see more. I need to see more. And a question I have for you, Tim. Question I have for you, Daniel. Right.
Yeah.
Do you think, realistically?
Yeah.
Do you think
What?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's going to go down as the greatest Oklahoma City Thunder player of all time because he won MVP, because he also won championship.
Yeah.
with them,
You're right. You're right.
But
you're
do
right.
you actually think that he is on the same level, prime for prime, with a guy like James Harden?
I'm gonna be
With a
honest.
guy like Russell
With
Westbrook?
style
Do
of
you
play,
think his
you're talking about-
MVP? Do you think his MVP
Look.
season was as
No,
impressive as theirs?
when you make that statement, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The reason why I would
think
say
so.
yes is because of the styles of play being so similar. You're talking about free throw merchants or foul merchants. Those two guys are the epitome of trying to make sure they make contact while also still trying to get a bucket.
Yeah.
Any way means necessary. I'm gonna be honest with you. Prime for prime, that mid-range game of Shai is what separates him from a lot of guys.
Guys don't do that anymore.
And it's a lost art.
Yeah.
So while there's a new part of the game that he's taking advantage of, he's also still making sure that he has down to his core what works that other guys just aren't looking for. We're in a game in the NBA where 3-point shots are just what is cool. We see kids in AAU doing step back threes when that's not fundamental. Shai is fundamentally sound. They both in different with primes. If they were to play one-on-one, there's going to be two different ways of how those guys get their points. It's going to be close as hell at the end, but Shai is going to sit here and make his way and somehow push himself to the point to where it's almost an art. It's an art with Shai. With James Harden, he's at the scoring ability is going to go down as top 5 ever. With Shai, he's now put himself in conversation to be up there in that top 5 conversation just because
Top 5 of what?
Scoring. If he has another season like he did last year, sir, he will be in that conversation, top 5, I think, all time of scoring.
And you know what's going to crazy? You will find out. We got to move on because this is only our first topic, and I can't believe we've been going for 38 minutes on this topic. You will find out in short order. Hear me out, and hope everybody's listening. If Shea continues to get all this praise and the rest of his teammates have to take a back seat, those guys will start to request trades. Those guys will start to ask for out. And when you move the nucleus of this team, when you move some of the star players that actually mask his flaws, it'll all be shown. It'll all be shown. Is he a guy that can get you a bucket? Yes. But but can Shea Gilgeous-Alexander himself
carry a team?
I don't think so.
I think it's a valid question. And I mean, if he has a season like he did last year, we can have this conversation. Yeah. We have this conversation.
I'm still gonna have the conversation because guess what? Because guess what? There's one guy who can prove to carry his team. 2 guys actually.
Jokic.
Nikola Jokic.
Okay.
And guess what?
Who?
Luka Doncic.
Okay.
Luka Doncic.
I also think Giannis is. I agree with you. Yeah. The last thing I'll say is I agree with you on the sentiment. For me, I think all-around basketball player who I'd rather have. I think it's Nikola Jokic and Luka, and I think Shea and Giannis are on the same tier of both those guys. That's
a very great poll.
In my opinion, like when you take Giannis off the court, it drastically changes their team. But they are both one-dimensional. Like not one-dimensional, but they focus on one thing. Giannis is attacking, and Shea is the mid-range.
Yeah. Now, let me put this on record. I did not say Shea is. I just want to make sure. Just because I'm going for bat for him doesn't mean that I'm calling him the best player in the NBA. I think it's Jokic, hands down. And
then it's Luka Doncic. And Luka's better than Shea. And to be honest with you, he's better than Shea.
Okay,
I agree with you.
All right. Okay. Yep. Just for this, sake of the segment, let's keep it going.
Come on.
Come on now. We got so much more to talk about. Come on, man. What's next with us? You want to argue. You want to argue so bad. You want this to happen so bad.
Recency bias.
And I'm not. I'm not. We do
bias.
Live in a world is what have you done for me lately? And I'm just saying, we are in agreement to some degree. We argue all the time, but we are in agreement. I think all 3 of us, Jokic is the best player on planet Earth.
Followed by Luka Doncic. Yes.
Okay, by Luka Doncic. Yeah.
There's a reason why every single year, before the season starts,
right?
Luka Doncic is considered the MVP favorite, right alongside Jokic. There's a reason why, and we've seen him take the carcasses of guys like Daniel Gafford and guys like PJ Washington, and we've seen him get the most out of those teams. With all respect, he also had Kyrie.
One day, I hope to find the love that
it's just
has for his horses. Yeah.
You will. Listen, thank you. That was the first. Only the first.
That was the first segment
of the show. Damn, that was the longest segment we've had. You guys can do us a favor, touch video, like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you guys know when we go live. Listen, I want to move on to Brian Daboll. The question is, has Brian Daboll lost the locker room? Do we have the video? So that's the question. Has Brian Daboll lost the locker room? We saw a very angry, pissed off Brian Burns, headed to the locker room after their loss to the Denver Broncos, which to me, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how that happened. Roll the clip. So yeah, I want to get you guys' thoughts on that. So talk to me about that. Do you guys think that Brian Daboll's losing the locker room or what?
We were having this question earlier. Oh my God. All right. Well, I mean, there's so much to unfold and unravel about this. I got some stats here that are telling as hell, but to be completely honest, I'm gonna just go from like a humane perspective right now. There's a glass half full instead of half empty look that you can't have about this. New York Giants fans, you have found your quarterback. It's been a long time, but Jackson Dart is real. I don't think he walked into that game yesterday thinking he had to put up damn near 40, but he damn near did, and he did what he was supposed to do. By the way, 𝗦𝗢𝗎𝗓, whatever his name is, the kicker for the Giants, pack your bags. You probably are still in Denver. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Has Brian Daboll lost the locker room? I don't believe he's lost the locker room, but I think now there's a conversation that can be had of this shit can't happen again. And I think he's talking directly to his defensive coordinator. Let me tell you what happened yesterday. The Broncos had only a 0.7 chance of winning the game yesterday when they're down 26-8 with 6 minutes left in the game. In all of the years of a team being covered of a lead after halftime of 1,602 games, the Giants became the first team to lose after leading by 18 or more points in the final 6 minutes since the statistic was being tracked. Most points in a quarter, 33 points in one quarter. Fireable offense. Fireable. I'm not gonna lie to you. Now that I'm talking and saying it out loud, yeah, Brian's gone. Brian might be gone. They found the quarterback. There might be I don't think there's a chance of playoff for them, but I do think they have incredible building blocks. You're rushing 3 and dropping 8 with 35 seconds to go. You save money, don't make money. And I think that's something that happened yesterday. Try to play it safe, and you had an Atlanta Falcons type of debacle that happened. There's no really excuse for, and I think that's what Brian Burns was a little confused on, was the game plan going into those final, I want to say 2 minutes of the game. What are we doing? So, yeah, has he lost the locker room? There needs to be conversations had, because he said at his presser yesterday that there's not too much to say after a loss like this. Yeah, it is. And I don't want the Giants to start getting into the whole having player-only meetings. I think that's just a sign of, there's breakage in the system. But in reality right now, Brian has to find a way to not play it safe like that anymore. Yesterday, you could look at it as, okay, we could be back from this.
Yep.
Or this could be a turnaround. It could be like what Chicago had when they played, Washington last year.
And they sold.
Yeah. And then it started a whole slid of games of just pure losing.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. And for me, I think there's 2 points of this. Number one, Brian Burns is totally in the right. This is a dude who is, in my opinion, the best defensive player right now. He's had the best season out of any defensive player. This is a guy who's leading the NFL in sacks. He is dominant. He has had 2 big-time sacks in this game. He has a right to be pissed off. When you are that good, when you are that talented, when you have 2 big-time sacks in this game, you have a right to be pissed off. The problem I have with this question is I believe a quarterback can mask so much of a problem that a head coach has. I believe the moxie, the confidence, what Jackson Dart is bringing to New York, I don't know if it's going to result in Brian Daboll being fired. I think that it should. This season that they're having right now, this game, that is a fireable offense. 33 points in the fourth quarter. It is your job to put your quarterback in the best position to succeed. And there was a quote somebody said, this team does not know how to win yet. And I totally agree. But is that on your rookie quarterback, or is that on
your head
the
coach,
leader of the men, your head coach? I believe that's on your head coach. So I do think that Brian Daboll should be considered to be fired at some point. My only concern for Giants fans that I have is, does your quarterback, does he mask the flaws in the locker room? Because we've seen 𝗕𝗓𝗏𝗏 on, after the game, ripping off his shirt, giving Giants fans some hope, giving the Giants team a new energy. When that happens, it masks a lot of the questions. You could even look to, I hate to bring them up, but like the Cincinnati Bengals with Zach Taylor. A lot of it, Joe Burrow has been masking some of Zach Taylor's flaws in the past. And that kind of leads you to say, hey, well, the team still looks great. The team still looks rallied. Well, a lot of that is because they're rallying behind the energy in the locker room, and that can be attested to the quarterback. So the problem that I have is this was a game that you should have won.
I don't think there needs to be a lot of finger pointing. I honestly, I think the conversation that needs to happen in the locker room needs to be of constructive criticism. I think the conversation that needs to be had is when we are in these situations, because maybe we don't know how to win yet, like you said, what can we do to maybe stop the bleeding? We need to find out with situational football how to stop the bleeding if we do go on a skid, because not everything's going to be perfect. Hey, I will give the Giants defense credit. For 3 quarters, you brought your hat and your lunchbox to work. You did what you were supposed to do. You were prepared, but the problem that happened was you started to play safe at the end of the game. And what that made them do was, with being conservative, you stopped rushing the passer. From snap of the ball to the ball out of Bo Nix's hands. They averaged 3.7 seconds on the play. That's too much time to give a guy to find a hole in zone coverage with 8 guys dropped back there. You don't have you need your pass rush and your pass rush. That's what helped you for the first 3 quarters of the game. So I think in reality, there's a lesson to be learned in this, is that now moving forward, we have our quarterback. We don't have questions about that anymore. I think what hurt them a lot was losing Malik Neighbors. And then also the third thing to add to it is the problem that we had with Kyle Shanahan in the Super Bowl with the Falcons was you got too pass happy and you left the ball in your quarterback's hands when you really should have just been bleeding the clock out and making the other team use their timeouts. With 4 minutes and 56 seconds left, the interception that Jackson Dart threw over the middle, that's on Jackson for pulling the trigger. But that's on Brian Daboll for not knowing the situation at hand. You're just trying to win the game. You already see it going down, a steep slope. You don't want that to continue to happen. And you should have just handed the ball off. 𝗕𝗘𝗪 was on fire. The dude is running the ball as well as anybody. And I think that if anybody sees that, it's Brian Daboll. They have building blocks, but I don't know if it's going to get him fired. It's going to get them finding a quarterback is going to save his job. Give him at least another year.
Maybe.
But right now, wins are the business. Wins. What have you done for me lately?
At this point, at 2-5, sure that they're gonna have some more time. I don't expect them to be fired right now, but this game
you got 10 more weeks.
It's at 2-5. This team is better than 2-5.
Yes,
the talent that they have is better than 2-5.
Yeah,
we'll see. I think that Jackson Dart could save his job, but I also don't think that Brian Daboll is the reason why they're winning. So
I actually think this is one of the weird times. We talk about it so often how you draft a quarterback, but usually the head coach doesn't get to see the fruits of his labor, with the work done with that quarterback, because usually a new coach comes in and they kind of work with them, fix them up. Very similar to how Brian Callahan, Cam Ward, right? I actually think this is the one time where I think the Giants should take a page from the Bengals book here. I think they should actually stick with Brian Daboll. I really do. Because just as we talk about them all growing up before our own eyes, like 𝗕𝗘𝗪 and you got Jackson Dart, who was my number 1 quarterback coming out of the draft. We talked about them needing they need to find a way to win, but you also need to learn how to lose in order to win. And I think that these are one of those tough losses to show this is how good we could potentially be. Why blow it up? It shows that Brian Daboll has the capabilities. Maybe there needs to be some tweaks to that team, coaching staff, but I think they got the right guy at the job. I think this will be one of those situations because you want to pair your young quarterback with a guy that works with young quarterbacks. You want to pair your quarterback up with a guy that he can grow with, they can learn with, he can build something special. And I feel like they're on the cusp of something very special in New York. Kudos to Brian Daboll understanding that, I need to turn to the young guys. Hey, I've got something special in 𝗕𝗘𝗪. I've got something special in Jackson Dart. That's why I'm going to start those guys over Jameis Winston, over Russell Wilson, because I think they can win with Brian Daboll as the head coach. I really do. I think this is a spot where obviously the New York media is fierce. The New York media is on you, right? Trust me, I know that coming from New York, New Jersey area.
Yeah.
But I think this is a spot where they need to weather the storm. If next year you don't see any improvement, move on from it. But I think I think continuity is what's going to be what's most important for Jackson Dart and 𝗕𝗘𝗪. And I'll be honest with you guys, I think I've seen enough growth, even though they're not resulting in victories yet. I think I've seen enough growth under Brian Daboll for them to warrant him staying on as the head coach. I really think I have.
We can't forget the win against Philly just a couple weeks ago. And LA. And at this point, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I'm the New York Giants, fan base, I've seen a lot of bad fucking football. Okay. I've seen a lot of shit happen over the course of 2 years where it's made me pull my hair out. Let's just all take a chill pill. Now, I'm just going to throw the sprinkler into there. And you guys tell me if I'm tripping. But if they do decide to move on from Brian, you're not a bad coach. I think that, Did Josh Allen save your job or get you a job opportunity? Possibly. But I'll say this. If they do decide to move on from Brian, I think they have their head coach in-house. And we had talked about him last time I was here, Mike Kafka.
I think Daboll has to be the guy. I really do. I think you have to stand by.
Is that you have to because you put so much into him, or is that you
because
have to because
if you're moving on from Brian Daboll and you're hiring a guy in-house, like by the way, Brian Daboll hired Mike Kafka to be his offensive coordinator.
Right.
What are you saying about Brian Daboll? There has to be some fundamental issue that would make you want to move off of him, but keep a guy that's in-house. That means, hey, our staff is good. You're just the problem, whether it's your attitude, whether it's the way you go about things. I just don't think it's that. I think if anything, if Brian Daboll is gone, Mike Kafka is gone as well. I think the job that they've done with Jackson Dart needs to be praised. And I think continuity here is the most important. Do I think Mike Kafka, a guy that is probably, it feels like he's been propelled and pushed up to be a head coach here for the last few years. I don't know if he's the guy to replace Brian Daboll because it's too close to the situation in New York. But I also just think that the Giants should just stick with Brian Daboll. I really do. And this is not me just saying just stick with him because he's just, you have to, but I think they've shown enough growth under us to feel confident that even though it's not resulting in wins just yet, take a page out of the Dan Campbell book with the Lions. The Lions could have moved on from Dan Campbell, but no, they stuck by him. Even when people like myself are saying they need to move on from him because this guy just a culture guy, basically. But I think they're making the right decision.
I think the way as a Giants fan you can look at it is slow motion is better than no motion.
Yeah, and
I think us to win against a division rival, on primetime television,
you haven't beaten in a while.
who we didn't. I think we were I want to say 13-point underdogs. Then to turn around, you beat. What was that? LA that they beat
before the Chargers.
Yeah. So at this point, you have film and you have confidence. And your young quarterback who will also get to show his resilience coming up, next week. How do you turn the page from that? I think the Giants defensive coordinator needs to get a harder look at after this past week. That 30, I don't think this
was a blowout and then it just got squashed.
I don't I think we are putting the emphasis on it, but on just a larger scale. 33 points in one quarter is insane. Yeah. Insane amount of just consistent football being played and just points. Luck was on the side of Denver a couple of times, but they capitalized on it.
Mm-hmm.
The tip pass in the back of the end zone to Franklin for the touchdown. Freak ass play.
But if we were what set this into motion was the interception, right? What was the interception that was returned basically. And at the end of the day, it's one of those things where, man, like these things happen in football. It's momentum. Yep. They're going to be wins, they're going to be losses in the league. Like I see Bill Sparks' comment, he says, it might just be me, but keeping a coach who's had some maddening moments in play calling and management and GM management just because of his work with the rookie quarterback isn't the right move. Well, also, Bill, respectfully, that's coming from you as a Browns fan, and I get that because you guys haven't had success in terms of putting that all together. But there are franchises.
Congratulations on this weekend.
Yes,
too.
Congratulations on the victory. But there are some situations where it could work, and I think this is a spot where I feel like they've shown enough growth. Listen, Brian Daboll is also a young coach getting his first start as a head coach and to getting a chance to improve himself. This guy also has to learn the ebbs and flows of the coaching position. I hate the league and how it's been and let's just fire a guy. That's the answer. That's not always the answer. Sometimes when you call for the removal of a guy, understand what you're doing for the long-term output and how this thing could look. I think Brian Daboll is a guy that, again, if he does not show, let's see how they look the rest of the season. How about that? Yep. Let's see how they look the rest of the season, right? And then go from there before we have a knee-jerk reaction. I don't think Brian Daboll is a guy that should lose his job over this. Like there have been teams that have got blown out. You guys were dominating Sean Payton's Broncos on the road in Denver with a rookie quarterback, a rookie running back, and a young head coach.
So I think with us kind of saying press the easy button on Brian Daboll, right? We would agree, just calm it down a second. The whole firing thing is a little outlandish, but as Dan had said earlier, it's about winning and finding ways to win. people saying you don't know how to win yet is one of the worst things that can be said to you in the NFL. There's guys who you don't know how to consistently get teams off of the field on third down. There's, as far as red zone efficiency on offense or on defense, being able to sit here and create turnovers. No, just learning how to close games out is one of the worst things that can happen to you. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the whole losing thing, we know how New York is. You know how New York is. They have the Eagles coming up in Philly. Then you have the 49ers who are red hot. Mm-hmm. Then after that, you have the Bears who out of the slumber are putting together great tape. And then you got to go. Then you got to go back home and play the Packers.
Well, before we dive into that fully deeply, and I don't actually even want to dive into it fully deeply, what I will say is understand you have a young team. You're dealing without your wide receiver one, who's obviously out for the rest of the remainder of the year with an ACL tear. What you're looking to see is not even wins. You shouldn't be judging this team off of wins right now. Off on management. Okay. You want to, because you realize you're dealing with teams that are red hot right now that kind of have their stuff figured out. Would you want to win? Yes. But what I'm looking for most importantly is I'm looking for a team that shows fight. I'm looking for a team that puts up a winning effort. Yeah. That doesn't mean I'm going to judge you solely based on what the outcome of the game is. Did your team fight? Did you show growth there? Or do I see Jackson Dart, 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗡𝗪, and this Giants team regressing? That is going to be the things that I judge you on. Because guess what? If you show fight and you still show a want to win and you have something to build off of, guess what? I can live with that. And if you're management, you can live with that. This is not like this is not his like year two with those guys. And you're like, well, we showed flashes last year and now this year completely just fell apart. We're going to blow it up. Yeah. Then I could get on board with that. Right. You want to show growth though. You want to show growth. And I think that's what every successful organization should have the mentality to do, because it might have been tough for the Lions when they were sucking, when they were doing terrible under Dan Campbell to start.
But I think finding your quarterback gives you that ability to have a longer leash.
And not even finding your quarterback. Actually, sometimes that kind of hurts you because teams are like, well, we want to just bring in a different guy and that can set a new voice. But more so than just finding your quarterback, finding a way to progress. I think that's the most important part. This Giants team needs to show progression. They need to show that, hey, we might have sucked against Denver before, but if we're in this spot against the Packers, we're going to close it out. And that's what we're talking about, right, Tim? Right? Showing the growth week in and week out. You don't want to see the same mishaps happening every single week, because then you have a coaching issue. Daniel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, my final take on this, and where I get concerned with this, Malik, is I do have a sense that we could see Brian Daboll gone. And the only reason, like I said, I agree with you on the sentiment about the Giants not needing wins. My concern is the fact that Jackson Dart has been in the medical tent every single game. That's where I'm concerned, because I can see a world where if he were to go down, knock on wood, I do think that could spell some bad things for Brian Daboll. And that's where, if I'm Daboll, I know I want to win and I know that's my quarterback and I love that for Jackson Dart. That is my concern. The fact that you're in the tent every single week, that is my biggest red flag about this team right now.
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Would you move on from Dan Quinn right now?
Dan Quinn right now?
Yeah.
No. They just made the playoffs.
And the quarterback has been getting he just hurt himself again.
But that's my point. He's literally in the tent every single game.
Oh, I
think there's a part of it where you have to also teach. You have to teach, these quarterbacks to protect themselves sometimes. And I feel like Jaden Daniels tries to protect himself. I feel like he tries to go out of bounds and stuff like that. Because the Jackson Dart kind of plays hero ball, tries to run people over, tries to do just different things. And I think, playing alongside 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗧𝗏 will get you kind of pumped up and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, man, we also got to have a certain level of patience, because if you don't want to be that organization that continuously fire coaches, because eventually you'll miss out on some good guys and some guys that could have probably turned the culture around if you were able to stay the course with them, right? Like Brian Flores probably could have been a culture shifter in Miami had they stayed with him for a while and weathered the storm. At some point you're going to miss on some players. You're going to miss on some picks. You're going to miss on all those things. Going to happen. But realize when you have something potential there, and that's my biggest thing. I've seen enough from Brian Daboll, right? Whether it be the Cowboys game this year where they almost beat the Cowboys with Russell Wilson at the helm and Russell Wilson plus. I've shown enough flashes in the game. Remember, we hired you to be the head coach, but we also hired you for your offensive prowess. Yeah. And have we seen enough growth in this offense under Brian Daboll? Have we seen enough growth under this team under Brian Daboll? Maybe that's something Brian Daboll hasn't done just yet, right?
I think
he turned over his roster fully. I know he moved on from Wink Martindale and all that kind of stuff like that, but maybe changing it up a little bit more might be might be beneficial for him.
And I think also with Jackson Dart, being, the football player that he is, I think that also comes with its downs of him. He'll learn the game just like how, people who tried to tell RG3 before he got injured, you need to, take care of your body. Cam as well. Those guys were, they like contact. They just like playing football. Yeah. But with the quarterback position, I think he'll learn later down the line that, the best ability is availability.
Yeah, so, for sure.
It'll take him time, but I think them finding their quarterback will also teach him. He'll learn the game and it'll slow down for him. And I think that'll bode well for the entire team, as a whole. But right now, just pump the brakes for a second. You guys will be fine. I think they will.
I'm happy you came to see the light because it felt like we were seeing.
No, that 33 points is crazy. Yeah. Like you can't do that. You can't do that shit again.
At the end of the day, I think just staying the course is going to be super important for this Giants team. We'll see. Again, judge him off of the full scope. We'll see what happens at the end of the year. Again, if you guys do us a favor, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss when we go live or upload content. We've gone pretty late today so far. We're rolling for a little bit now. I want to get to something really quickly. We're gonna divvy up on some stuff. We'll wait on some stuff. Did you see that funny moment in the game? Patrick Mahomes in the it was a very, very small moment. It was brilliant, man. It was absolutely brilliant. Mercy, do we have that clip? I just want to play that clip really quickly. It was a because I feel like sometimes people see me jump on the show and they think that I just hate Mahomes and all the kinds of stuff like that. Do I think he's overly praised? Yes, I do. But do I think he has flaws in his game? Yes, a lot of flaws in his game. But I also think that there are some brilliant moments. And I just thought this moment was pretty funny. Mercer, roll the clip.
Side. Fucking never fucking work, man. Sorry. Mahomes says, Coach, it doesn't there they go. He was faking it.
Yeah, so it was a moment where he's like, they're trying to get the 4th and 1, and he's like, this play never works, man. This play never works. He said he's used some more colorful words than I will, but he's this play never effing works or something like that. And then the defense kind of all stood up and they're like, what happened? And then they snapped the ball right away. I just thought that was brilliant, man. Like, I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up really quickly because like they've reached such another level of confidence as an organization, as an offense, right? Where they can do little funny things like that. It's kind of reminiscent of what Ben Johnson want to say. Dang, anything you want to touch on with that? I thought that was pretty funny.
It was hilarious. And it brings up the point for me where you look at this team versus other teams, right? Whether it's Tennessee Titans, the Las Vegas Raiders, you can name all these other teams that aren't, more in the bottom tier of NFL teams. And it's confidence. That's what it is. It's continuity and it's confidence. You have the same head coach, Andy Reid, same defensive coordinator, same quarterback. These guys have been through it. They are veterans. They've been to the Super Bowl. They've been to the AFC Championship. They're in these games. They've lost. They've been at the lowest of lows. It is confidence. That is what it is. And for me to see that play, I agree with you. It is a very unique play, but that play speaks volumes. And it speaks volumes about this game, 31-0. That is not something that any NFL team does. And quite frankly, that's not something that a team who sits their quarterback up until, after the third quarter does.
That was insane. That was an insane pull by them, by the way.
They're different, and they just show how certain games, there's just a level above. They don't always play, down to their competition. When there's some teams where, hey, we're on a different level, So it's confidence, it's continuity, and the fact that Mahomes has that confidence to go out there and do it, that's what makes him great, and that's what makes this offense great. So props to Andy Reid, and it should show you that is what you can be if you're an NFL team with the same head coach and the same quarterback, doing it together and learning each other and basically going through the NFL with each other. It's a relationship.
Wait, Brian Daboll, Jackson Dart, maybe maybe they can learn something from that. And not to say that they produce multiple Super Bowls, but maybe just continuity is important.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
just a thought here.
No,
we're throwing around a lot of C's out here: confidence, continuity. Can we talk about just the fact that I think their identity is just creativity? Their ability to sit here, it feels good when you get your car out the shop. When you get an oil change because that's been running right, or when you get some fresh tires. Now you can peel off like you want. That's what happens when you get Rasheed Rice back. It opens up everything for everybody. Now I'm able to put in different formations and run plays out of the same look 3 different ways. The creativity that with Pat Mahomes' arm slots all the way down to Andy Reid and whatever, portion of play calling Matt Nagy has or input, those guys have been able to create this blend for 8+ years now of being able to put defenses at a standstill because you just don't know what necessarily is going to happen. And when it's close, it's damn near over. And yesterday wasn't close at all. Yeah. I think it is crazy to pull Pat in a game in week 7, with a whole quarter left.
That just shows the confidence, man, where they are.
It does. They are playing right now. And I said it yesterday while I was watching the game with my boy Jeremiah. Shout out to Jeremiah, man. I appreciate you, man. I told him yesterday, they're going to go on a run right now. They're going to go on a run. They're going to get to a point to where now we're talking about, first of all, can we agree, Pat Mahomes MVP conversation?
No.
He's the favorite right now. That's what the sports.
You're saying
no. I know. That's what
You're
the sports
saying
books,
no.
I know. That's what the sports books say right now.
Look, Pat Mahomes within the next 2 weeks between him, Dak, and Daniel Jones. But that's another conversation for another day.
That's another guy.
That's another conversation. But it's where I'm at.
We'll definitely talk about it. If you guys do us a favor, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss when we go live or upload content. Me and Tim just always have a funny back and forth.
I love you, man.
I love you
I
too,
do, man.
I want to talk about since we're keeping it on the quarterbacks, I want to talk about this. And what we'll do is we'll do this and we'll do Monday Night Football bets and head on out of here. But did we overrate Trevor Lawrence? And by we, I just want to take myself out of the conversation.
I'm a Clemson fan.
Because I've been here. Let me just say this. I've been here and I've tried to tell y'all, tried to tell folks, right? We got to be very careful on crowning these guys a little too early. Calling people, I hate this word. It happens every single draft time, and I get it. You have the people that really are into the draft, and they want to sell the product. They want to shoot a tune into the show, but they have this, you usually you have the F word, you have the S word, all these different slurs and words that people use. You know what word for me does it?
G word?
The G word, generational.
Ooh, I knew it.
I hate when people call people generational. Oh, this is a generational player, a generational talent.
It's like you throwing around GOAT. Yeah.
It does something to me because it's unfair to them.
Yep.
When you throw the generational tag on somebody, you take away their ability to grow. You basically say all this pressure that you never asked for, but we're putting on you, is now bestowed upon you, and you have to produce. It's what's happening with Arch Manning right now.
Yep.
And not realizing, if we look at these guys like every other quarterbacks, I get it. The expectation could be great, but allow these guys to grow. Every draft punt, Trevor Lawrence is generational. He's going to do this. He's the Jacksonville savior. And for me, when Trevor Lawrence was coming out, I remember this, man, because me and Dan have been working together for a long time. We had a huge debate. The conversation that we had was, how was Trevor going to do in the NFL? And I said to him, I struggle to see if Trevor Lawrence is going to be the franchise savior because he was blessed in a situation where he had success coming right out of the gate with Clemson. This is a guy that never lost early in high school. So if you never lost, how will you
handle losing?
How will you handle losing? You have to know when you get drafted first overall, you're gonna go into a losing situation. This is no fault of his own. Listen, he didn't ask for all this praise, he asked for all this hype, but he got it.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you guys, every year he was at Clemson after he won the national championship, I just saw him decline.
Yep.
I didn't see a guy that really handled the pressure really great. I saw him struggle. And that wasn't just a Trevor Lawrence thing, right? The Clemson team struggled at points and stuff like that. But I'm talking about, you talk about a guy who wins a national championship, and he's going away the number 1 overall pick when he decides to come out of the draft. Well, you're looking to see flawless performances. That's what you're expecting to see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I just think that when I look at it, man,
you know what I think.
Wait, hold on.
My bad.
I just think that Trevor Lawrence is a guy that has had holes in his game, but because the expectations for him were so greatly, we just ignored him because they fit a narrative and it fit agendas. So I think now what we're seeing shouldn't be necessarily a shock to us because These are always things that were going to show up. He needs a guy that's going to help uplift him. Now, I think Liam Cohen's the perfect coach to get him out. I do. I think that there's some real talent there with Trevor Lawrence, and that's the maddening part because you see the flashes. The flashes are great, but then you don't see any level of consistency with it, and that's the more alarming part. Thinking how long he's been in the league. But Tim, what are your thoughts?
I think after that playoff comeback against was that the Chargers?
Mm-hmm.
I think his portfolio got blown up after that. And ever since then, it's been a decrease. And Trevor, I appreciate you, man. If you ever decide to watch the show, I just want you to know I'm a Clemson fan, huge Clemson fan. But if you suck, you suck. And it's not to say that he's sucking right now, but it's at a point where it's not consistent. His team has been in positions, even the game against who's that they played Monday night? Chiefs. Even the game against the Chiefs, it wasn't a clean game, but he made plays to win. And it hasn't been the profile that we got coming out of college, or at least the generational tag that he was given. I think I agree with you. The generational tag is getting thrown around a whole lot, like the word GOAT. I think we need to calm down on what is considered generational, something that just other people don't have. I don't think there's anything that Trevor Lawrence has that there's not other guys, not have at this point. Did I say that right? Yeah. I think right now we need to. I think this is a huge year for Trevor. If they don't, at least make it to the second round of the playoffs, I think Trevor's in trouble of getting the Anthony Richardson treatment of having somebody come in and just challenge him to see if that can up his ante of his game. Right now, have we overhyped him? I would say up until this point.
Yeah. I think for sure overhyped. And the tough part about this conversation is in the NFL, once you give a guy a contract, you're stuck to him. Like, what can they do? Same thing with Liam Cohen. You ain't going to get another quarterback, in my opinion, right now. Like, he's your guy. You got to roll with him. The problem I'm having with him right now is, I agree with you, Malik. He was never a generational guy. He was deserving of the #1 overall pick, but he wasn't generational.
Yeah.
The problem I have is the consistency. And not only that, this season, everybody talks about him being a big play threat. He only has 3 passes of 20-plus yards this season. When you look at what he is doing down the field, he's attempted 25 passes down the field. He's completed 4. 4 out of 25 passes down the field. This is a dink and dunk offense right now. That's what they are. They're a run-first offense. And maybe he's learning Liam Cohen. I understand. Maybe he's learning the new offense. Maybe Brian Thomas is dropping passes. I understand. But at the end of the day, the quarterback, you are the guy. And I just haven't seen the conversation at this point. We're 5 years, 6 years into his career. I don't see him making his way into that top 5 quarterbacks. I think he could be with a playoff contender. But as of right now, I think it's going to take a lot of work for this team to be consistent to where we say, hey, they can rattle off 2 straight wins in the playoffs. So I think that this is the Trevor Lawrence we've seen, and it's going to take Liam Cohen building around him to make this offense look great. But he has not looked good this year, and the numbers prove exactly that.
I think for what you need in the NFL to compete at a high level, you talk about even on the lower scale. I know he had a drop off this year in CJ Stroud, and the season's not over, but even guys like CJ Stroud, all the way to, Jaden Daniels, to even right now, you would even call it for like Caleb Williams. You just want guys who are capable of making a play. And I think with Trevor, he's put the ball in. I think he's been cautious. And then when he has decided to take a chance, it's been into hell's way. And I think at this point, what Liam Cohen needs to contend and ultimately, win. He left his quarterback that he needed in Baker to sneak off to Jacksonville. That whole situation was uncomfortable as well. But at this point, Liam Cohen is going to have to try to figure out a way to have Trevor Lawrence not become the generational player necessarily, but to maybe more so alter his trajectory of his career and become the best game manager that he can be in order to win games. I think Trevor Lawrence, for who he is, I think he can turn into having, what year was that? 2017 when Blake Bortles took them on a run. Yeah, I mean, you can have a similar type of run like that. Your defense has been, a focal point, creating a lot of turnovers. But I mean, right now you're asking a lot of Trevor Lawrence, and those predictions, those wants and desires of what they thought he would be, those expectations just don't go away. So you're gonna have to alter a couple of things. We have, overrated him, but at the same time, he can save himself to some degree.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a fine starter. I just think that there's guys that aren't superstars or aren't, aren't generational, and I think he's one of those guys. Listen, if you guys do us a favor, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss when we go live or upload content from the TWSN studios. I want to get to our best bets, Daniel, for Monday Night Football before we head out of here. So, Daniel, what do you
Awesome. Got? Yeah, you guys can go to the Patreon and go check out our full bets, but I'll give one play for each game. 2 games, Monday Night Football doubleheader. For the Lions versus Buccaneers game, I'm going to do a little parlay with these two. It's Jared Goff, 2 passing touchdowns, and Baker Mayfield, 2 passing touchdowns. These are 2 of the best offenses in the NFL. And this is a game where you're playing in the Dome in Detroit. This is prime time. Baker Mayfield has been balling all season. In the Detroit Lions defense, their secondary sucks. Every single quarterback that's faced them outside of one has had 2+ passing touchdowns. Baker gets his 2. And when you look at the Detroit Lions, they had a rough game against the Chiefs. Jared Goff only had 1 passing touchdown, but that's the Chiefs defense. That was a primetime matchup. This is a different matchup. The Buccaneers secondary is not very good. They've got a great run defense. I think they're going to have to pass the ball. I love Jared Goff, 2 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield, 2 touchdowns. It's super simple, but you're getting that at plus 130. I just struggle to see how that doesn't hit. Mike Evans is back in the fold for the Buccaneers. There's no Bucky Irving, so the Bucs are going to have to throw the ball. I think 2 touchdowns is an ease for them. And when you look at the other game, Houston Texans versus Seattle Seahawks, this is a very weird game, but it's a game I'm intrigued to watch because it's 2 very good defenses. When I look at for this game, I can understand people going Nico Collins. I'm going with a weird one, though. I'm going with the guy who's leading the Seattle Seahawks in red zone targets. I'm going with the guy who's become one of the best friends of Sam Darnold, and that's A.J. Barner. A.J. Barner is a very unique guy where he's not getting talked about a lot, but he had 3 receptions last game. He had 7 the game before that, and he had 3 the game before that. I'm taking his over in receiving yards, 25. I think it's a very simple look, but I'm also taking a sprinkle on his touchdown. A.J. Barner leads the Seattle Seahawks in red zone targets. Not Jackson Smith-Njigba, not Cooper Kupp, not Kenneth Walker, not Zach Charbonnet, not even their quote-unquote starting tight end, Elijah Arroyo. It is A.J. Barner. He's the guy they're going to in the red zone. Him to score a touchdown is plus 360. I think that's the avenue we want to and should attack against the Houston Texans. So those are the plays I'm a big fan of. I got another one. Go to the Patreon to check it out. But Tim, you got any?
Yeah, I have a couple for some hit rates tonight. These are some that are gimmies, and I would say, but if you want to win some money, I think these are pieces that you add to the puzzle. Jackson Smith-Njigba in 6 of 6 games has hit for 70 or plus yards. I think that is I think that continues. My MVP pick, Baker Mayfield, 2 passing touchdowns tonight. And then you could also add in Jahmyr Gibbs for 50 rushing yards. He's hit that 5 of 6 games this year. And then I think the tight ends have showed out this weekend. I think both tight ends will cap off this weekend by Sam Laporta and Dalton Schultz both having 3 receptions. They both hit that in 5 of 6 games this year. So I think those are some great pieces that you got to your puzzle to win you some money tonight.
I love that. So I'm going to keep mine brief. I like Torrey Horton have over 1.5 receptions. I like A.J. Barner. Daniel, nod to you because you kind of took my thunder a little bit there. I think he has over 2.5 receptions as well. And I think Kenneth Walker, I'll hold off on that. I want to do some digging there a little bit further, but I think Kenneth Walker could find himself getting in the end zone tonight. So those are plays with the Patreon, but As we talked about earlier, the NBA is back tomorrow. NBA is back tomorrow. We certainly don't have a graphic for you, but I can tell you a couple plays that I really, really like for it. So you gotta listen very, very closely. Because I don't really give out my NBA picks too much, but what I will say is I'm looking squarely at this Lakers game with no LeBron in the fold. I love Luka Doncic over 30.5 points. I love that. I think Lucas probably scores 40 opening night. I really do. I like, I don't know if the prop was up already. There's a sneaky good play that I think hits. Jonathan Kuminga, 15 points for the Warriors. That's sitting at plus money as well. Jonathan Kuminga is a guy, for some reason, that falls under the radar. People don't think he's a guy that's going to do well or take advantage of these spots. I think that there's going to be some huge beneficiaries too with Luka Doncic leading the show and being the lead man in Los Angeles with LeBron out. And I think one of the biggest ones are going to be DeAndre Ayton. I think DeAndre Ayton's going to absolutely eat with Luka Doncic in there. I really want to look at DeAndre Ayton's alternate points, although I don't know if they have that right now. 15, a little too rich for me, but maybe 12. I think I can see DeAndre Ayton getting, but even more so on that. I love Luka Doncic to have about 8 rebounds, might even do a triple-double. I've been talking with Daniel about this. I think Luka goes for like 38, 8, and like 10 assists. But 8 is probably the proper number. But I definitely think Luka gets 8 rebounds and 8 assists. And I think if you guys haven't checked it out just yet, I think DeAndre Ayton as well is going to get about 10 boards tomorrow, maybe even a little bit more. I think he's going to be a breath of fresh air for this Lakers team. There's also a sneaky play that I like, Danny. I don't know if I'm gonna throw it together just yet, but I like Austin Reeves to hit about 3 threes tomorrow. Right? I think him and Luka Doncic are going to be a dynamic 1-2 punch. Until LeBron comes back finally. But there are a lot of NBA plays that I really like for this game. I think if I have to settle on one last one, really quickly, I know I'm kind of giving you guys a lot right now. Another play that continuously smacked for me last year, and it's coming from the Rebound Whisperer, it's Jonathan Kuminga, 6 boards. I think Jonathan Kuminga gets 6 boards tomorrow as well. So I think Jonathan Kuminga finishes around 15 points, 6 boards, and he might even score even more because they're going to need him to show up. They're going to need him to show up in a big way. I just feel like Jonathan Kuminga is going to take that next step this year, and I'm ashamed I didn't mention him when we were talking about some of our breakout young players this year. But Daniel, you got anything you want to touch on really quick?
Yeah, I'll give 2. You hit the nail on the head with one of them. I think Luka's 8.5 rebounds. I think that's free, to be honest with you. When I watched him, obviously look at preseason numbers. Sure, he only had 5 in his last game. When Luka gets in regular season mode, when he gets in a big game mode, he's rebounding. And who else is rebounding? You got DeAndre Ayton, I understand. But for me, Luka tends to take the corner man on offense or on defense, and he'll be on the weak side for rebounds. I think 8.5 is a steal. It's a hammer for me. I absolutely love that. My play of the day, and Tim talked about this guy. This is something that's for the other game, Malik. This is one I might throw a little chatter behind this one. Alperen Sengun to have a triple-double, I love. I love it. I love it. I watched him in the preseason. He had 12 assists and he had 7 assists. First off, I like his over and assist 6.5. Their offense flows through him now. KD is not a point guard. Fred VanVleet is injured. Who's their point guard? They got Amen Thompson.
Great pull by you.
Like he is the engine of their offense. I believe 6.5 is far too low. I think once we get 5 to 10 games into this, you're going to see this consistently at 7.5. Maybe even 8.5. But I look at this. They're playing the Thunder, great defense. But I just believe that Sengun, he's going to play 35 minutes. I really don't see how 6.5 doesn't hit.
Unless he gets in foul trouble.
He can get in foul trouble. But when I look at this is when you can take advantage of lines early in the season, especially with the team with as much change of the Rockets. I think triple-double plus 850 is a snipe, and I think his over and assist 6.5 I love. So NBA's back, baby. I'm excited.
You're getting the fancy treatment. You're getting the ticker and your stuff on it. I'm not even getting mine. That's kind of crazy. It's kind of insane.
Fancy treatment.
It's all good. 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 Listen, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to the morning show. We appreciate y'all so much for making us a part of your regular routine. Remember, the morning show is live every single Monday, Thursday, and Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time as we go over the latest news in NBA, NFL, UFC, and so much more. We got a big UFC pay-per-view coming up this weekend. Tom Aspinall taking on Ciryl Gane. We're going to touch on that on Thursday. We're going to touch on that on Friday. But more importantly, we appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Again, I apologize we weren't able to have Xavier Watts on the show, but he'll be on the show here in the coming weeks, and we're excited to talk to him. We're excited to talk ball with him. Thank y'all again. Remember, there's only one way you should be waking up, talking sports, having the conversation, and that is the right way. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
This is TWSN. You ain't heard about us yet, well, you better know now, because it's the place that it all goes down.